And I will focus on this, maybe sharing something which is new for you, in the sense that I think it is familiar for you, the traditional way through which you can get funds through private investors, pitch during investment events. I think this is quite familiar. In Europe, we also have, beside this, for companies, the opportunity offered by European Union funds. Okay? And this is interesting also for you because some of the European Union programs are opened also for non-European countries, included India. Okay? So this is an additional, I think, opportunity to consider. So thanks a lot for sharing your information. So now I can start. Yeah. So starting from who I am, so I'm Gianluca Vagnarelli. I'm the founder of iStrategies, which is a social enterprise. At the beginning, we were a startup company. I founded this company in 2018. So my background is it's from academia, because I have been a researcher and lecturer at in a Italian university. Then in 2018 I decided to start my company for two reasons, basically. The first is the fact that I didn't have the opportunity to get a permanent job at university level, but at the same time I need to start, organizing learning activity in my way. Try to innovate more based on my personal feeling. This is why, especially in the public universities in Italy, the academic culture is quite a little bit conservative, so it's difficult to introduce some innovation. For example, try to push the academia to working more closely with companies, for example. This is the reason why I started this company. Where we are based in central Italy, in a rural village, and the name of the village is Offida, small rural village. But when I say small considering the Italian standard, not the Indian standard. Because for Indian standard, a small village maybe is 50,000 people. For us is under 5,000 people. Okay? 80% of the villages in my region are under 5,000 people. So we have a region in which we have disseminated villages in every corner of the region, and one of the problems indeed is the connection, the transport from the villages, So we are here. You know that Roma is here, central Italy, but on the east side, and Milano is here in the north, in the most rich part of the country, most dynamic part of the country. Consider that Lombardia region, which is the region in which Milano is based, produce one third of the entire Italian GPR. Okay, it's a very productive and industrial region. Basically, through iStrategies, we offer innovative learning solution We collaborate with more than 40 universities worldwide. One is Woxen University. But we offer also learning residential experiences in Italy, focused on the entrepreneurial skills. This thanks to the collaboration we have with a local wine company, because in our region wine production is a relevant part of the local economy. So we offer basically to international students the opportunity to come, to networking with our local actors, to develop entrepreneurial skills, and obviously to enjoy Italy, which is always an attractive destination, as maybe you know. So what kind of projects we develop? Yesterday I presented in one class session in Woxen, one of our project we implemented for a local wine company and focused on the safeguarding of culinary heritage. It is a heritage, the so-called heritage marketing project. Heritage marketing means that when the company use heritage, so your patrimony, to create an added value for your products. And I think this is something important for both of us, I mean Italy and India, because we have something in common. We have a rich heritage as a country. Okay, so we can use this in the best way. I mean, this heritage not only to conserve or to preserve it, which is very, very important, but also to put in value our territories, our companies, to create jobs, to create opportunities for people. This is what we basically did through this project, that was focused on the intangible heritage. You know that heritage can be tangible, something that you can touch like a monument, or intangible. In our case, we saved the memories of the local food, interviewing our elderlies, basically. We realized videos about it in which these elderly people share what were their habits related to the local typical food, and this company shared the video through the social media as, you know, a way to underline their link with territory, story, and heritage preservation. Thanks to this project, I'm very proud about it, because there is a social side, not only a business side. Thanks to this project, we saved the memory of over than 100 people, former peasants, mostly illiterate former peasants. So the only way through which they could share their knowledge and memories was to be interviewed, because they were not capable to write a book, unfortunately. Okay? Now we have an archive of 140 hours of these interviews. From that archive, we saved 30 different recipes, local traditional recipes, that a professional cook prepare. You know? This was in very few words. This is an example. This project was also object of 2 scientific articles as a way to save at the same time your local intangible heritage and promoting, creating value for company, but also for your destination. But as I mentioned, we also have a learning project. Learning project we developed through collaboration with the universities and thanks the grants we got from European Union. Okay, so we can synthesize our business model in these three pillars. So from which resources we receive our revenues? European Union projects, so European Union funds, in short. Corporate projects, because when we develop projects like the one I mentioned, company pay us. Residential courses in Italy, we offer in English for international students, which is one of the third more recent pillar, which is growing. Okay, we usually negotiate and we have a kind of standard course, but then we the university based on their need. For example, some universities instead of just 1 week. We combine, our approach is more focused on non-formal learning. So we prefer to not have students in class from 9 to 5. This is frustrating. What students usually do when they come is develop projects for local companies and present their project in front of the company like pitches. So the company on one side give them feedback, evaluate future with them. So it is a job opportunity for students. So on one side there are these learning, a series of learning experiences, visit activation sites, information site, logistics site of a local company, meeting with the CEO, manager to understand how it works in practice. So, have theory of business. In the presentation of your business ideas and grants. Obviously, the first one is creativity, as you know well. As capacity, I would say, not only to generate innovative ideas from scratch, but also in a more ordinary way, we could say, be able to try inspiration from other contexts and adapting them to your business. What does it mean in concrete? I give you an example. I'm quite passionate about podcasts. Okay, I like listening podcasts. So one of the projects we got is related to the podcast for education. So my idea was at the beginning, how can I adapt this passion to the education? Can be podcast used for educational purposes? Okay, so this is the origin of the project. So not something that born from scratch, but something that you already know in some way, but you think that is not directly related to your business, but you can adapt to it. Because sometimes we are too focused on our sector, but we do not see that the inspiration can come from other fields. So basically the suggestion is be curious. Be curious in the sense outside of your box. outside of your traditional perimeter. Second, this is maybe the most important one in my personal experience, grant writing. If I would lead a course on business, one of the mandatory subjects would be business writing, which is one of the subjects that I see in some business school. For example, in Milano. In Milano we have Bocconi School, which is one of the renowned private university in Italy, very expensive university. And for their World Business Program, they have at the first year business writing. What does it mean in concrete? It means that to be effective in the presentation of your ideas in a clear and well-structured, way. I give you an example. I have been in the past evaluator for grants for the European Union. Okay, European Union used to hire external experts to assess the project, the thousands of the project, the grants they receive every year. So these external experts from remote receive the grants, the proposal, and evaluate from remote, and the final result is a kind of point of negotiation between the 3-4 external experts involved in the assessment process. Is it clear? Okay, sometime, even if these proposals were related to my sector, I couldn't understand what they effectively want to do, want to realize. Because the writing style, the presentation of the proposal was a mess. Okay? Was not so well structured, well presented. So consider that the style you have in the business proposal, the writing style is different from the other, for example, scientific articles. What academicians sometimes have difficult to do is to switch from the scientific writing style to the proposal writing style. You have to be schematic. You have to be able to present very easily, your ideas. So this is the second crucial skill. So to have a good idea, but to be able to be effective in the transmission of this idea. I talk too much, this is the reason why. Third is networking, but this is maybe more related to our type of, proposal, in the sense that the European Union funds only projects with a European dimension. In the case of involvement of partners from non-European countries like India, for example, partners from India can apply, but they have to mandatory involve at least 1 or 2 European companies or partners or association and so on. Okay? So you have to be able to build your partnership. In my experience, but this can be relevant also for you, for different kind of grants. In my personal experience, we got all the grants we got simply starting from 2 pages of concept. We used to write 2 pages of project concept and sending an email to a partner who was related to the topic of the project. We got a project, for example, on wine with as a lead partner a university with courses on wine marketing. The relation between us started from a simple email I sent to them writing, we are a startup based in Italy. This is our project idea. There is this open call in which we are looking for other partners. This is our project idea. Would you like to be part of the partnership? People used to answer, in my experience, if the project idea is coherent with what they do, obviously. You have to be able to understand a little bit what they do, to read the website, try to understand what they do, what are their work and so on, and adapt, refer to it when you contact first time them. This is the way through which we build all our international consortiums. 97% of the company through which we collaborated, we didn't know before this project. Okay? Communication, spreading, obviously your activities, idea, what do you do. In this way, in my experience, I'm here thanks to LinkedIn. I'm here thanks to LinkedIn. Because I sent a message to Aditi Saxena, the director of the School of Arts and Design at Woxen in 2020 or 21. And we started a collaboration. We had a video call. We involved her in a European project that was on design thinking. So the collaboration started like this, like other collaborations. So to have a network with with professionals in the field you think can be relevant for your work, investors, for example, it's very, very important, okay? Now I would like to open the link. Thank you. Yeah. So, if you, so this is the website of the EU funding and tenders portal. This, I think, represents an additional opportunity for you, in the sense that in this portal, if you click here, funding, call for proposal, if you scroll a little bit, yeah, you see here, for example, clicking on call here. No, excuse me, the other one, submission status. Only open for submission. Clicking on just on the open for submission, not the other two. So you see here the list. There are 747 open for submission, proposal calls, and you see here the name of the program. Horizon Europe is the most important program that funds research and innovation in Europe. Okay, and this is the title of the call. the deadline, 5 November. Single stage, it means that you apply and they assess. There is no pre-assessment of the project, and it's open for submission. So not all the 747 calls are, opened for non-European partners, but some of them are. And recently, India, also thanks to the agreement between Italy and, Europe and India, is one of the most important partners Europe would like to involve in the EU program, because from a European perspective, it is important to enlarge that program, which is the most important program at the global level that funds research and innovation. But this is just one program. There are programs more focused on startups, on social enterprises, and so on. So please explore. To get into this, you should just, this is obviously you can visit the website, but you should log in, creating an account. It takes 15 minutes, okay? The registration process. You can register only your organization, not you personally. After the registration, that takes 15 minutes, you receive a code, and through this code you can apply for projects, okay? If you go into the call, you also see that there is a possibility for partners to say, I'm a partner from India, I have this kind of expertise, I would like to be involved. And maybe other partners contact you. Okay? So this is one of the opportunities that you offer. And I think it's an interesting opportunity for us. In our experience, it was really, really important, not only from a financial point of view, because the percentage of the funding is between 80 to 100%. So it's a good, percentage. But especially in terms of internationalization, because the European priority is to build a European state, which is difficult because we are 27 different countries with different languages, with different histories, identity. So this is the reason why the Europe try to incentivize our company students, professionals, to exchange each other, to work together. Because through this, Europe become more competitive, but at the same time we develop a kind of European citizenship beside our national citizenship. Because I'm Italian, but at the same time I would like to be, I'm European, okay? And I was referring to the fact that these kind of programs are important for me, in my experience, because it's thanks to this that we could internationalize our startup. Having a knowledge exchange with many, many European partners and universities. At the beginning we thought that, okay, but we are a small startup from a regional, from a rural region, so we cannot compete with a big European university like Stockholm or, but at the end I have to say also we have something to say to them. So I think it's useful also in terms of acquiring more awareness about what you are and what are your skills, capabilities, expertise. Okay? So please take it in consideration, and maybe we are thinking to apply with Woxen and other European and other Indian partners in the future. So maybe this can be, a beginning of collaboration between us. Okay? So I prefer to stop here, to not be too long, because I'm curious to exchange with you. Thank you. Yeah.
The projects that are mentioned here, do we get mentorship for that, or do we have to expose our expertise and get in collaboration in those projects? That was not clear for me, sir.
That kind of project?
Yes, yeah.
It's simply like this. You register your organization and providing your data, website, and so on, and then you describe your expertise. Probably some other partners from European Union who is looking for Indian partners because in the project, in the call, they would like to apply to have 2 Indian partners is mandatory. They will contact you, and you will have a call with them, and then you will exchange. So it works like this.
I have like one more question. So before you mentioned that your startup is related to experiential learning and you are into academics, it's been like around 20 years or so. Yeah. So I would like to know more about that. How do you actually make experiential learning, because it's the need of the hour right now for students? How are you implementing in your startup about experiential?
So we basically offer residential courses in collaboration with wine companies. So we designed for them a 1-week training for international students, which is a combination of, as I mentioned, 3 elements: project-based learning. So basically, when the university contacts us, for example, we will have 22 students from Netherlands on May. So we will launch a call, we could say, in which the wine company says, we are interested, for example, in launching a new export in India. So please, you students, present project through which we can implement this kind of new business. And the students start working on this when they are at their universities, okay, with their professors, divided in team. We provide a series of information about the company, about the business, new business, and so on. When they come, they finalize their projects interacting with this wine company, and present at the end of the week their projects and receive an award, the best team. In parallel, during this week, they visit, as I mentioned, transformation site, logistics site. So basically it's an itinerant learning. And they have a series of meetings with key professional figures, inspirational figures, CEO, export manager, but also local NGO, local municipalities, institutions. Try to better understand the context, okay? And also the food and wine part is important, I have to say, and always appreciated, I have to say, because we offer a welcome dinner for them and everyday lunch for students. And this is, I think, important in my experience, because it's a way to create the right, this is important for educator, the right climate, the right feeling in the class. We have always the wine, the welcome dinner the first day, because through the welcome dinner, a series of ice-breaking activities, you defrost the students. Because at the beginning they are in a different country. They are international students from different countries. They don't know each other. You have to, I don't know if defrost is the correct word in it, defreeze, I don't know how. So, and you have to work on this on the first day. And I can say that after the situation becomes more relaxed, and consequently the learning is more effective.
said these funding and contracts are they set aside for students especially, and also what kind of contract entails? Is it prototypes, is it service related, and is it also open for startups which are based out of India and do they need to implement there?
Yeah. So no, it's open also for adults. For example, last April we hosted a group of from Mongolia. This was a group from the National Tourism Association. So our target group, considering that the local companies we have, the local network is related to wine, food and tourism, mostly, not only, but mostly. Obviously, we are more interested in startups or entrepreneurs that are able to develop the project in this kind of sectors, offering obviously not only a learning experience for them, but an opportunity to meet companies and maybe develop future business together. What do you mean? No, for any kind of organizations.
Even for not-for-profits?
Yeah.
But these are all for-profit organizations, right? Even small entrepreneurs,
For any kind of organization, it depends on the program, because each program is focused on a topic. Horizon, which I mentioned, is mostly research and innovation, but usually now the tendency is to build partnership differentiated. So even if in the pure academic project, universities try to involve NGO, startups, companies, because this diversify the partnership, okay? Because this is one of the priorities. European Union would like to avoid that you stay on your silos, but you have a transversal approach.
Yeah, because as I said, the non-government organization I'm working with is most into hands-on learning for young kids. So where not many, for government schools, at least in our state, not many schools have this laboratory set up.
Yeah.
So that would be a very good exposure for them also to get the equipment, the technology to reach them.
Yeah.
So I had a similar question, like, I represent a foundation, I'm founder for Smart Foundation. Am I audible?
Yeah.
So I'm founder for Smart Foundation. We are working with very closely with UN funds also, with UNA. So for tackling menstrual hygiene. So we are empowering 1 billion underprivileged women with sustainable menstrual hygiene. So I really want to understand, how we can collaborate and, amplify the reach. Because this is a campaign to eliminate period poverty at all.
Yeah.
Talking about a country, talk about Africa and all, there is so much. Only in India, we have more than 70% women who do not have access to menstrual hygiene. So it's a very big problem, a very huge magnitude. So I basically want to understand that.
Yes, gender perspective, gender inclusion is a transversal priority. I know I do not have direct experience on some program, but I know that, for example, for funding SME, so small, medium enterprises, you have to present in a European Union call the gender plan, through which you demonstrate how you are going to integrate and to offer equal opportunities in your companies, both for men and women. But this is something that is really transversal. So you can find this element in all the programs.
Because basically we are distributing for free. So this is again not-for-profit organization.
Yeah, I understand.
Along with awareness campaign. There's a lot of stigma attached to menstrual hygiene.
Yeah.
In your experience, did you see any funding coming into food, basically on healthy versions nutrition version food
Yeah.
for startups.
Yeah.
Those are all European
Yeah,
agency brands.
any kind of sector, any kind of topic, consider that the approach of this project is a bottom-up approach, in the sense that European Union set political priorities, saying that we want to achieve social inclusion or gender balance, or present a project that considers this. It's up to you to create the project. They, in the call, specify only, for example, in the project you have to have at least 4 different countries involved, because the objective is always the Europeization. And in the case of the non-European countries, for at least 6 non-European countries and 2 European partners, okay? They set the maximum budget for the project. They describe the type of the partner you have to involve, if mostly academics or research or non-profit and so on, and then it's totally up to you. In this way, I have to say that for me it was also a great opportunity for, how can I say, for developing my creativity, because there are no limits in terms of new ideas. There are some really funny projects, totally with a total innovative approach, you know. And because the objective is try to disrupt, we want to move forward. You have to be able to demonstrate if the state of the art of my sector is here. You have to demonstrate to be able to come one step forward from the state of the art. So not repeat what is already there, but try to move on, because the objective is innovation, you know. Yes, please, there is the lady there.
Hi, firstly, welcome to India. And
Thank you.
Nachi Boda, I'm a trainer running in Ghana. So, I mean, listening to you coming here and with all the young students, it's a pleasure, definitely. So, we'd like to know from your experience, being taken from so many years of more than 20 years plus, anything or any such suggestion which you like to give it to us and to the young entrepreneurs as well, so that they can select and choose the correct organization for the pitching and the funding, if at all they're looking for. So that is something which is really misleading in today's world. Since that's a topic, if you can share some insight.
Because you had not positive experience, I can imagine.
Probably the kind of mention the things I'm doing it from all of these young pitchers and aspiring entrepreneurs, I can say that. So I can see that they're quite confused in terms of whom to choose and where to go and how to do that. So with your experience, if you can share that.
I want to just to share a practical tip in my experience, which is our approach. We try to work a lot before contacting the partner. To work a lot in the sense that to study what the partner do, who they are, what are their priorities. So what we avoid is massive mailing. Never did it. Totally unuseful in my experience. Maybe for someone else it's different. I try to focus on one single partner each. I study, I read the website, I go to the LinkedIn page, and when I contact them in the email, they understand that I studied, so that I know well what they do, who they are. And this is, I think, an element that generates in them respect. Then they say, we are not interested, but we thank you because we see that you studied. Okay? So this is my suggestion, in the sense that if you have to select a partner that can be, I don't know, a mentor, a business angel, or and try to match its topics, expertise, interest. Try to how can I say, adapt a little bit your idea to the core business of the partner. Because in my experience, sometimes we found partners through projects that were not so profitable immediately, but this kind of project were able to generate a different impact in terms of, for example, social responsibility or cultural relevance. In Italy, at least, companies are looking for projects in which there is not only business, also because thanks to the Z generation, they are not so interested in a company that promote themselves just saying, this is my product and this is the best, I'm the best one, and so on. They would like to have something more. So companies are open in this way. So not be afraid to submit ideas with a business plan that must be, must be able to produce profit in 3 months, because that's not the case. And I personally, I'm not interested to work or collaborate with someone who has this poor perspective. Excuse me. Yes, please.
So, what is the perspective for the students? Like they're young out of college or in college or like maybe studying. They don't have an organization. Like how can they approach? Because this needs to be.
Yeah. You mean for this? Yes, for students there are a lot of opportunities.
Anybody who has an idea or who does not have an organization.
In some program you can apply also if you do not have an organization, the so-called non-formal or informal association organization, so not necessary to have something recognized by some authorities. You can apply. And for students, this is a suggestion for students, Indian students. You know that the most successful European program is Erasmus. Maybe you heard it. Erasmus is the program, it's a 30-year program that funds international mobility. Was created, if I remember well, 40 or 50 years, maybe during the 80s. And thanks to this program, more than 1 million, many millions of European young could travel across Europe and know each other. European Union calculated that we had 1 million of kids thanks to the European program. Because European young meet each other, decide to create a family. So there is also a lot of impact, we could say, of the program. And now the program is open to all over the world. So other countries can apply. So other students can have the possibility to travel, and they fund you with a certain minimum amount that is usually necessary for covering your travel and accommodation expenses, not more. But for a young person, I think it's important to be able to have the opportunity to stay, for example, 6 months in India if European, or in Europe if is from India, because this is an intercultural development. Excuse me, I didn't understand.
So we're talking about gender balance and social inclusion. So I wanted to understand the success rate of initiatives for non-conservative projects, say LGBTQ communities, projects designed for them, initiatives.
The success rate of the project. So the success rate depends on the program. There are programs in which the success rate is higher, like 40% of the proposals. Other success rates are lower, but LGBT topics are part of the EU political priorities. So there are also in this case a lot of opportunities. Obviously, I don't know every program, but I can say that it's totally a topic that represents an opportunity, a priority for the European Union. The inclusion in that sense toward the LGBT community.
Criteria for this funding. I mean, all CSR and funding agencies will ask minimum operations experience. I mean, 3 years operated in foundations, NGO, and also their funding capacities, how they run previous projects like that.
Thank you for this question because it's important. So it's not necessary to have a certain time of operation. On the opposite, Europe incentivate the so-called newcomers, because obviously there is also a market behind this funds opportunity. There are agencies that professionally work offering services for grant writing and application. So to reduce, to avoid that there are monopolies in this sector, that they monopolize the sector, one of the priorities is to incentivize newcomers, so organizations who never applied before. First. Second, in the case of EU program Erasmus, there is a maximum of projects that you can apply for, not over 10. Your organization, I mean. You cannot apply for 100 projects in a same call. I mean, you can apply maximum in 10 different projects as a partner. Okay? This to reduce the fact that are always the same major player who get the biggest funds. Okay, I have to say, because I can say it based on my direct experience, because I have been evaluator for Marie Curie scholarship. Maybe you know Marie Curie. It's a big opportunities for young researchers, because funds young researchers with a lot of money. The salary is around 4,000–5,000 euros per month, plus the funds for laboratories and so on. So I have been evaluator, so I evaluated many projects presented by young European researcher, and I have to say that the process is completely meritocratic. So get funds the best one according to the evaluator. Obviously we are humans, so we can do mistakes, but in my case I didn't know the other evaluators, so the European Commission sent me the proposal asking me, you have to declare your conflict of interest, and in the case you do not declare and we discover you are fired. Okay? Then, so usually for each proposal there are 4 different evaluators from 4 different countries. of Europe. Each one provide an assessment that you have to justify, you have to explain, because for me the score here is 4.8 instead of 4.5. There is a grid you have to follow in the evaluation. And then there is a process of reviews from other evaluators, different from the first 4, and at the end you arrive the final assessment, and the young researcher can ask for the revision if there are some elements not so clear. So it's, I think, totally transparent process in my experience. This is, I think, I have trust in this kind of approach.
Continuation for her question. So even a new NGO, like which is only 1 year or 2 year operational, also can apply for
Yeah.
this, is what I understand.
Yeah.
Two, while we are applying for a grant or a funding, will there be somebody to monitor the way we are putting
Yeah.
the project report?
Yeah, obviously. It's it's a huge work of you have to justify. I know this because we are a coordinator of a project.
I mean, whatever proposal we submit, somebody will again suggest that this is not the way of corrections or something.
No. There is not a mentorship. No. Then, if you receive funds, you are monitored for every steps. You know, you have to justify, you have to report, and blah blah blah. And yeah.
So when we are applying some project, for example, my example, I am running one over 4 months entrepreneurship training with a competition. So for physically challenged and other categories, they need some support. I mean, helper and transport expenses.
Yeah.
So these costs,
Yeah.
comparing to other non-visible projects, it's very high.
Yeah.
So when evaluator, how they compare that kind of cost?
Yeah.
In India, it's different, and
Yeah. I understand.
how we can
Yeah.
compare these costs?
I understand. The approach, as I mentioned, is very smart. So, European Union does not provide you the costs. You have to design your budget on the base on your some guideline, general guideline, and you have to justify why, in this case, the transport cost 1,000 euros instead of 200 euros. You have to justify. If the justification is reasonable, they accept it. So there is not a top-down approach, it's bottom-up, quite flexible. What you have to take a look is, in each call, the eligibility criteria. So who can apply, what kind of organization, from which countries, because this change from program to, this is fundamental, because otherwise you risk the rejection because you are not eligible, not because you are not, your project is not good. But I would like to also a little bit know about how it works in India. At least on that side, there is a similar approach, for example, for national funds, regional funds. It's similar, I can imagine, or not.
Similar. So they have their own specifications. Government grants or private grants, they have set rules and regulations.
Yeah.
We meet them, and generally it is easy. Not because we have such a huge population and need is more. Maybe the priorities are less. Like if I apply to a particular organization, I need not to be the only one who's applying. There will be 100 others who would be applying.
Yeah.
The challenge is with the numbers.
Yeah. I know you are a huge country.
And the final one.
Yeah.
About the impact. So, the measurable impact is important, or the overall impact. I mean, see, when foundations are focusing on numbers
Yeah.
So, what is your suggestion when we writing a proposal? Need to focus on measurable impact or success?
Totally. So the answer regarding the relevance, the importance of the impact is provide numbers, not opinions. You know, numbers, concrete numbers, small numbers. You should not resolve the problem of starvation in the world. You should just provide a small contribution on single territory. So first is provide numbers. Second is impact is more and more important in debt grants, because the problem of many European projects, grants, this is my experience, is that ended funds and activities, you know? So any kind of activities stops. So you do not have any kind of follow-up once you finished the funds. So for this reason, in the assessment process, the European Union evaluate better the projects that are able to demonstrate that after the funds, thanks to this project, I trained 100 women from Telangana state, and at the end, after the project, thanks to this training, we will have 20 startups. Okay, this is a relevant impact, and the project will be evaluated better compared to another one in which we have just training, but not follow-up. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Cost per beneficiary might be higher. So that means the number of beneficiaries would also be lower than other projects. So are these considered, or is there cap on?
No, it is considered, and beside the gender perspective, another priority is inclusion. So you have to be able to demonstrate that the part that you organize will involve disadvantaged people. They are criteria, and you have numbers. So on students, I train 3 students from disadvantaged groups, which in Europe means, for example, groups from rural or groups from disabled people. Organization to understand, you know, the perspective.
So you mentioned that you are also looking for partners for collaborations for within the organization. What kind of areas and collaborations? Give a brief about what are you looking for?
Yeah. Education, obviously, is one of the pillars, and wine and food, wine import-export, because we are connected with wine companies who exports in the many non-Italian markets, from US to China to Northern Europe and so on, and India represents a new country in this way. So they are interested in looking for people who would be able to help them in starting an import-export of Italian wine here in India. This is another second priority for us.
There are like 5 to 6 students.
Yeah.
There are a number of students from India.
Yeah.
In our community, if they want to know more about Italian heritage or culture or something like that, is there a way we can connect with you online or something like that?
Yes, with pleasure. Yeah. Not this week, but not this week. Next week. Yeah. Yeah. You can find me on LinkedIn. I don't know if you have had. Yeah. But what about Italy? What is Italy for you? I am curious to understand, the image that our country has here, because we have a certain idea of India. Me, maybe my friends. Wine and cheese, okay. Food. Car. Yeah. Ferrari and so on. Yeah.
We have one more thing in common, like Telugu states, it's called the Italian of the East, and we both languages ends in vowels.
Yeah.
So that's the unique thing that we both, Italy and
Yeah.
Italian and Telugu have in common.
Art picture. Architecture, okay. Yeah, architecture, art, cultural heritage. Yeah. Football, yes. Luxury brands, yeah. I noticed that here is not only here, Milano is very popular. So you know that Italy has this characteristic within the European Union. We are the only country in which the internal gap of the country is the highest. In the sense that northern Italy, Milano, is a very rich region, similar to Amsterdam, Munich, Berlin, Paris, in terms of standard of life, salaries, maybe not, but the south of Italy, the extreme south of Italy, Calabria, but also Sicilia, they are similar to Romania, Bulgaria, in some areas at least. So there is a big gap. So the Italy, it's, how can I say, there are Italies, If you visit Milan and then Calabria, it seems that you are visiting two different countries. But I think this is also the fascinating element from people, in the sense that you can find many different foods along the country, typical local food, so a lot of varieties. We do not have, apart pasta and pizza, a kind of national dish. Yes, pasta is a national dish, but we have around 200 or 300 types of pasta, and each region has specific pasta, So.
What do you think? Why is it so there is so much of gap? Like, what do you think is reason?
Long history. It's historical reasons, in the sense that we are a young country, because Italy was unified as a country in 1861. So we are more than 105 years old country, and in the south was dominated by Spanish and the north from Austria. The heritage of this past produced two different Italies, we could say, and also rivalities between north and south. This is a... The government is trying, to introduce some, for example, incentives. If you open a company in the south of Italy, you do not pay you have a cut in the taxes, you are incentivized. But now I have to say the situation is different compared to 30 years ago, in the sense that there are some area of the north in which the living standards are similar to the south, so poor area, because the deindustrialization. But there are some area of the south that, because tourism, but not only tourism, are rich area, like Puglia, for example, or Sicily too. So it's a little bit diversified right now. It's not this polarization between north and south like before.
What about the European investments?
European investments, they are concentrated mostly in the northern Italy, but not only. Not only. Milano attract a lot of finance, but I have to say not only there, also in the south. Yeah. And many Europeans, English, for example, live in Italy with buying country houses, staying there for summer period or all along the year. Okay. So if you do not have other questions, I want to say thanks a lot because it was really interesting.
So how's everyone feeling today? How was the session? Anybody wants to give any feedback? Anybody?
Not in front of me.
No, I think they... Please.
First of all, thank you so much, sir, for your time. Because we as young entrepreneurs, we really need to know what's happening and how to raise funds also. So it was really an interactive and impactful session for us. So I think looking at our faces, you already know that we really enjoyed the session. And the last Q&A part, which is for 10 to 15 minutes, was more interesting for me because cross-cultural thing is like, that's what I love the most in my life. So I felt that really interactive and impactful for me as well. Thank you.
I think we have a lot of students here. Any of the students who wants to give a feedback? I can start selecting people. Anybody else? No? We do have some refreshments for you guys. So I know you might be hungry. Okay. Alright then, thank you so much, sir, for coming to today's event and for making it such an interactive event. I was like listening, there were so many questions. You kept it very interactive and open for everybody, and I'm so glad that we had a smaller crowd so we were able to interact better with you. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much to Oxford University for facilitating this. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to more collaborations. And thanks to everyone who has come here today. I will pull up a feedback form QR so that please fill it up. I know it is a bit of a hassle to fill up a form, but it just takes 2 minutes and it helps us improve your experience for future events. So thank you so much. You can help yourself with refreshments. We'll just get that arranged in a few minutes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.